thanks for sticking around. We've got a great panel here. I'm as eager to hear what these people have to say as you are, as a fan of intellectual property and its future as it become digitized. We want to see that stuff have some value in the future. We're going to try to discuss some of that in this particular panel called Live Unstaged. Let's start with Rio. Let's talk a little bit about where you're at right now with music video. You've had a long history, both on the music video side and the digital side of the mainstream music industry, for lack of a better term. Where's VEVO at right now? We're talking about big media companies that have been around for decades, creating a new platform for music video. Where is that going to lead to in the next 5 years? Where do you see that going?
I think for us, it's all about, first of all, partnerships, right? Recognizing that you can't do everything yourself, and that innovation on the web is driven by partnerships and doing things with people as opposed to a monolithic silo approach where you have to do everything. You know, things appear to happen so quickly because they're building on top of and with the innovation of others. So that's why we partnered with Google, we partnered with YouTube, we partnered with many other places on the web, because our philosophy is we want to tell fans that they could drink from whatever faucet they want to, and some of that water is going to come from our well. So we're not trying to get people to come to a particular place. We're trying to put great music programming, great music experiences everywhere that fans are looking for it. So our perspective is the customer is every person on the planet who loves music, and how do you deliver great experiences to them? And it's not about selling music to people who don't want to buy it. It's about thinking about your customer as ultimately every person who loves music.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have a situation now in our history where more people are listening to more music than any time in the history of the world. And yet we hear these kind of dire scenarios about the music industry is in the tank, it's dying. Obviously, you have a different take on it. What's interesting here is you talked about this idea of partnerships. That seems to be a huge word coming up in the future. How is the music industry, the dying music industry, going to look in 5 years?
Yeah, I think the way I look at the world is music has been around for hundreds, thousands of years even, right? It's a cellular, tribal, genetic code where it builds audiences at a scale unlike almost anything else. Probably sports, I'd say, and music have the ability to build audiences in the scale of billions of people. And so music is alive and well. The experience of music is alive and well. The business of selling recorded music, which is probably only about 100 years old, a blip in the scheme of things, is rapidly transforming and ultimately goes away. So the future of music is like the dawn of music, where it's about how do you deliver performances and experiences to as many people as possible and wherever and whenever they want them.
What I'm hearing too here is a sense that we're you know, this chaos of the internet, of digital, of you know, video online, the idea of sort of structuring that in a way. Robert, it seems like you're sort of heading in that direction with the way YouTube is going to work, or hopefully going to work. Talk a little bit about this whole notion of partnership and curation to give a better experience for the viewers, the fans.
Sure. I think actually this panel is the great example of how we see future, which is you have phenomenal creators, you have a aggregation channel, you have somebody that pays for it, and you have somebody that brings the whole audience
I was
together.
hoping marketer, but okay.
Integrated brand marketer.
You know, curation, personalization, making sense out of a lot of content in one place is critical towards getting users engaged on a very prolonged basis. And if you carry a lot of content, it's a more and more challenging process. So we welcome a lot of strong brands like VEVO to sort of make sense out of the organization of a lot of content together, and we want more brands like that. We want more aggregators of phenomenal content that will then make it easier for all of our audience to consume it, and it will make it easier for us to get great, advertising partners to monetize it and deliver the value that they deserve for the money.
Now, I want to ask Rio and Robert this question specifically because we're dealing with a lot of 20th century ideas here when it comes to the law and technology. You know, the industry is being wrenched away from that 20th century business and technology model into the future. One of the biggest obstacles that I've noted in my reporting about this the last 15 years is just the idea of acquiring the licenses to even do something, to get out of the silo mentality and into the partnership mentality, creating something that's basically a new business. How difficult has that been, and are we any closer to allowing some of these technologies to actually, you know, take hold, because the old business models are finally being seen for what they are, which is, you know, kind of obstructionist?
I think that it's easy to talk about the leisurely pace of copyright law and how behind, you know, the industry is. But I think this was one thing that I'm particularly proud of, that, you know, today you can go to YouTube and I could make a video and I could put almost any music on that video and I can upload it to YouTube, and all of a sudden it's there. The music and the rights holders are detected automatically. The royalties and revenue and reporting flow. The user doesn't have to do anything. And basically, they just get to use great music on their vacation video or their Bulldog skateboard or whatever it is that they're uploading. And the point is that friction, you never used to be able to do that. To go and get licenses from record companies and music publishers to do things like that was incomprehensible for that kind of a use. And Google has done a great job of applying technology to help solve these kind of tricky licensing problems. It's not perfect, and there's still lots of problems, but there's trying to solve these things. Technology is also a great way to solve these problems, and we're seeing progress there.
Rich, you've ventured into these waters as well as another, you know, a big company getting into this area, partnering with other companies to create new opportunities musically. We're gonna air a clip here in a second, but I want you to talk a little bit about that, amplify a little bit about this whole licensing area and how you've seen it change, if at all, over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, after the clip, we can go back and we'll talk about our strategy and why it makes sense for this program and what we're trying to do. But from a licensing perspective, I think now more than ever, I think artists, creators of different kinds of content are a lot more comfortable with marketers or entities utilizing their personalities or their intellectual property to do things with, as long as it's in an authentic way and it's a way that they're comfortable with. And that's just the way it's going. It has to go that way, right? Models are changing. Rio talks a lot about what is happening. Music's not dead. It's just changing. And that model is changing, is allowing people to do different things and be more comfortable. And also companies like VEVO and other entities that can help marketers like American Express make sure we're doing the right thing. We want to make sure we're doing the right thing. There's a lot of people out there maybe not doing the right thing, and artists can't profit or participate. We want to do the right thing. That's what our brand is really about. So as these models really evolve and change, and artists are more comfortable with us, there's going to be a lot more opportunities. And we're just going to need to make sure we do it in the right way, that it's an authentic way, and that it's we're not sidestepping.
One of the huge changes in the last decade has been this whole idea of the pipeline. What is the pipeline? There used to be one pipeline. Like as recently as 1999, you basically had the artists on this side creating music, and it filtered through a handful of record companies and then maybe a handful of big commercial radio stations, and it reached the listener once it got squeezed through that very narrow pipeline. Now we have multiple pipelines, multiple ways of reaching those viewers, listeners, to the point where they are now distributors and contributors and co-conspirators with the artists. Questlove, you have mastered the art of Twitter. You are a Twitter monster. What are the numbers we have here? We have, I believe, 1.5 million followers.
Right.
That's extraordinary. 28,000 tweets. This is a man who has a drumstick in one hand.
28,001 tweets.
And he twitters on the other hand. He's twittering right now about what a stupid question I'm asking. But how has it worked for you? I mean, in terms of direct to fan, you've cut out the middleman. You are talking directly to your quote-unquote followers. What has that meant? Has that done anything for your art, for your music, for your ability to get the music out into the world, for your revenue? Have you seen any difference in regards to those things?
I'll say that maybe for the first decade of my career, from 92 to about 2002, back when, the roots were just, that was my main focus. A big part of the problem is that we were really not exposed. Like, people knew of us, but really they felt like they didn't know us. And I don't know, through Twitter, I found a way to sort of reach out. Like, most people use Twitter as just a means for self-promotion, and I'll be DJing here tonight, or I have this product coming out next week. Mine is more, I use it as just an ongoing sort of Truman Show-esque diary to show people, that I go through weird experiences, and I go through everyday Joe experiences too. One night I'm roller skating with Prince and Eddie Murphy at 3 in the morning, and then the next night security won't let me into Kanye West's event for his video. So it's and somehow I guess the more engaging the story, or the more engaging it is, the more people follow you, which is weird because I have more followers than I have actual record sales. People tend to think like, oh, okay, well, because you have 1.5 million followers, then those 1.5 million will at least go out and buy your product. It doesn't necessarily mean that, and often I'm approached by a lot of companies to push a product or endorse a product, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, I have the magic to snap the fingers and make it work. But I'll definitely say that there's an awareness, and I happen to have the ear. I'm waiting for the day where like all credibility goes out the window, and I'm just like, because there are people with millions of followers that have turned off their fan base or that type of thing, and
Right.
it's turned on them. But for the Questlove brand, so to speak, it's definitely allowed me another stage of my life. I got a book deal because of it. I'm doing other business ventures that I wouldn't even imagine I would have been doing 10, 15 years ago,
So you have these 1.5 million followers. I'm sure they're inundating you with questions. They feel like they can talk to you. How
most of them just want to know when I sleep. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's it.
But do you try to keep up and respond to everybody who wants
That's
to
the
talk to you?
thing. The thing is, when you have that many followers, and there are people that strictly have their people run their sites for them, and that you're never going to get the answer to the question or whatever. So I'll say that I'm one of the rare 7-figure people that actually engage. But the thing is that most of the time that you're getting 100 to 200 questions every 15 seconds. So,
Careful what you wish for, right?
Smart people know that that I'll check Twitter probably uninterrupted for the 2 hours that we shoot the Fallon show. So between 5:30 to 7:30, people want to know what the computer's next to my drum set for on the air. I have the ability to answer and also engage people at the same time. So most get frustrated, but for the most part, I'm able to respond to some people.